Okay, a meme beginning with a yawn that you can audibly
What?
hear is not the best intro to Mike Schur, who was wearing like...
It was a gasp.
It was a gasp. Yeah,
We're
it was a gasp.
starting
It
already?
was a gasp. Mike Schur is wearing like a
my
collared
God.
button down for us, and Amin is actively yearning for oxygen.
Yeah, man. Like, look, I can't breathe. I'm so excited. The show that we're having. We have the Mike Schur on.
Oh, come on.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, everybody.
So you do this a lot. I was trying to explain to somebody who isn't like a regular listener of the show why it is that Mike Schur is on the show more than anybody who actually works on the show. And I tried to explain what it is that you're about to do. So please do that thing by way of our explanation.
Start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, it is the start of the day.
Let's go.
Let's go!
Oh, Mike, you enjoyed that, right? You enjoyed not just that sound, but also the game,
That
I
ass
presume. You live in fear of the heat, but this had to feel satisfying.
No, it did. Again, I want this to go 7, and then I want the Bucks to win. So it's what needed to happen. It was also nice to see, like, not so easy to win Miami Heat when you don't shoot 15 of 25 from 3.
But it's pretty easy for Milwaukee to win when they shoot 30 of 30 from 3.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of yawning, ever since you brought up yawning, Jessica has aggressively yawned.
I was
like,
going to ask
at
if
me,
you could
like
see
4
that.
times.
She
I can see
absolutely
it.
It's so
did.
cold in here. It's making me. Do you guys yawn
you
when you're
yawn.
cold?
Yeah.
I yawn when I get really cold. Now my nose is a little icicle.
What's the temperature? Like 67, 68?
It's probably lower than that.
No, I mean,
Celsius?
when you start yawning.
Oh yeah, yes,
Like,
definitely below. Like say 66.
Yeah.
We're really trying to
Always.
kid glove Mike Schur's feelings here. It's definitely the temperature. Definitely it means excitement.
Yeah.
That is
Well,
the
he hasn't
prelude
talked.
to you.
He hasn't started talking about 80s baseball players yet. That's when I yawn out of boredom.
Then let's get to it. Here we go.
Let's go!
Stat of the day has been about the NBA, but today it's about baseball. Congratulations to Clayton Kershaw, Stugotz's favorite pitcher. Got his 200th win the other night. He has 200 wins and an ERA below 250. Since the live ball era started, let's say 1920, there are 8 pitchers who have 200 wins and an ERA below 250. How many can you name? Start trying.
Since 1920, ERA below
1920.
250
And 200 wins, yeah.
and 200 wins.
Greg Maddux,
Nope.
Randy Johnson.
Nope.
Tom Glavine,
Nope.
Pedro
Martinez.
Nope.
John Smoltz,
Nope.
Roger Clemens.
Nope.
Cy Young,
Nope.
Mariano Rivera?
Nope.
Bob Gibson.
No.
Oh,
Sandy
it's 200
Koufax.
wins. Oh, okay. So
Nope.
It's
Nope.
not going to work.
Not Koufax. No.
Is it just him?
That's right. It's just Clayton Kershaw. I lied to you. It's only one guy. The only guy. 200 wins and an ERA below 250. It's
Damn.
incredible. Good for him.
Yeah, in retrospect, I wasn't listening all that well because Mariano Rivera, a terrible guess.
Terrible guess,
An
yeah.
awful guess.
He probably has like 28 wins or something.
Which is actually pretty impressive.
It is. Mo.
And there goes Jessica yawning aggressively. I did it.
The metric.
Let's go.
Let's go. A metric that I like to use on whether or not the show is particularly good is how often Jess checks her phone. And by this metric, we are having an absolutely shambolic performance.
if this is any indication, I just read the front office sports newsletter while Mike Schur was making you guys guess baseball pitchers.
By the way, Mike,
Sweet.
you gave us that stat in the live ball era. Do you guys know what the dead ball era was? Like what it actually was? Because I just looked it up. And apparently, prior to the rule change in 1920, the same ball would often be used throughout an entire game, only being replaced if it began to unravel.
Unravel, yeah. Well, it's not just that. Also, for a while, home plate was 50 feet away. Pitchers threw underhand. The crowd very frequently sat on the field. Like, if you look at really old photos of baseball games in the outfield, the fences are like 550 feet away, and people are picnicking in the outfield. Like, that's why it's insane to use any stat from that era. Like, it was not a real sport.
They played on like the sand lot with the ball that they use until it gets, hit somewhere else, and then they have to go scrounge up another ball somewhere.
They got to go hop the fence and
Yeah.
go to old man, whatever his name's house.
They all have tiny gloves.
Chased by a dog. This was a really good description of the Sandlot.
Beast. I watched it for the first time 2 days ago.
What?
What?
Yeah. We interviewed Patrick Renna for Off the Looking Glass, so I watched it.
Does it hold up?
I wait and see.
Ah, that's
Wait, are we
That's a good
canceling?
tease.
Are we
That's a good
canceling
tease.
Benny the Jet Rodriguez?
The Sandlot's a classic.
Stay tuned to Off the Looking Glass
Oh, what
on episode 2 be released later.
is it problematic to like the Sandlot? I saw it like a year ago.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying wait.
The Wendy Peppercorn stuff.
Yeah,
is
the
a
Wendy
little,
Peppercorn.
I'm just saying wait to
a little
wait to listen to Off the
Revenge of the
Looking
Nerds.
Glass.
A little Revenge of the Nerds.
trees
Just
of
like,
green.
what?
Red roses.
I realize now that I don't.
Dangerous game.
remember the
Dangerous
sound.
game. Dangerous game. Watch yourself. Hey, can I ask a question about the? I assume you've already talked about SpaceX multiple times. in this
Briefly.
show.
Briefly, we mentioned it.
About as
is
brief
a
as
better
the
u-
launch, it turned out.
What's a better euphemism? The SpaceX tweet was the thing where it said it
rapid-
experienced a rapid unscheduled disassembly. That's pretty good euphemism for fucking exploded.
Yeah.
But here's the New York Times one. SpaceX's Starship rocket launched, but fell short of its most ambitious goals.
Did a SpaceX write this?
They're not lying. I mean,
No, it
I
did
would
fall
say
short of its most ambitious goals.
the
yeah.
most ambitious goal of what existing, right? That's
If
Yeah.
we all committed, like,
Maintaining.
if Pablo committed a multiple murder-suicide, you could say that this show fell short of its lofty goals as
Most
well.
ambitious.
But most
Yeah.
ambitious
It is.
goals.
It is kind of the conscious uncoupling of rocket crashes. Yeah.
what was there was
It's an entanglement.
in the WNBA there was a player who got waived, but they called it like a mutual dissolution of.
Yes, I don't remember which player it was, but yes,
Was it Liz
that was
Cambage?
what the team called it. It might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of just like, look, it wasn't the best. And you ask, like, what are you talking about? It's like, oh, that 72 car pileup that killed 100 people.
There
Nobody
it is.
was hurt in this, right?
No, it was unmanned.
Yeah. But I mean, like when it crashed down in a fireball to Earth.
No, it just dumped several tons of molten debris
Oh, yeah,
into the
we're
ocean.
good.
It's no big deal.
We're
fine.
good.
We're fine. Trust me.
Mike, I wanted to ask you, speaking of robots possibly killing everything around them.
Execs at BP were like,
Let's
my
go!
I wanted to ask you about Kawhi Leonard because we've been talking about trash talk inflation all day. And it feels like one of the people for whom that does not apply, the idea that everyone's saying so much that it's hard to tell what we care about anymore. Is this risque? Is this taboo? Kawhi Leonard says nothing. And he's also the embodiment of the difference between the regular season and the playoffs. And I mean, when I watch Kawhi Leonard, and I think when Mike Schur watches Kawhi Leonard, we see something that is unkillable. Like the fact that they're in this series, and yes, they lost game 2, but without Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard just looks like Michael Jordan. It's just like, who is this? I'm fascinated by no player, no athlete right now more than Kawhi Leonard.
He's
Me
the
too.
he's the guy that you're fascinated by because you don't know anything about him. He is the last of the Mohicans in terms of an athlete from a bygone era where all you knew was their exploits on on
back-to-back
NBC or
days
whatever.
with Last of Mohicans references.
I love that movie.
Clearly.
That reference, not the last of the Mohicans.
No,
reference.
many more Mohicans coming in terms of calling things the last of the Mohicans. But
Starring Daniel Day-Lewis.
yes,
I
and he-
hope
the
that-
last of
does
the
that one hold
Mohicans. That one's probably problematic too.
but
Are there sports on it? Because we'll watch it for Off the Looking Glass.
I'm worried.
Axe throwing.
I'm worried about what he had to do to get in character for that. By the way,
Oh, I don't want to.
Kawhi Leonard or Daniel Day-Lewis?
Daniel Day-Lewis. But
There was a play in the game the other night where Kawhi Leonard was guarding Kevin Durant, isolation style.
top of the key.
He stripped the ball from Durant. He then dribbled by himself down the court with Durant, an enormous falcon of a man, draped all over him. He just went right down the court, jumped up over Kevin Durant, dunked the ball. The ball went through the hoop. He caught the ball and then handed it back to Kevin Durant as Kevin Durant went to take the ball out of bounds.
That's a monster move.
It was one of the most devastating things I have ever seen in its ruthlessness and efficiency and basketball acumen. And I texted all of my friends who like basketball and said, without irony,
Let's
no
go!
one will ever A, let's go. And B, no one will ever say this because of the injuries and because of the problems he's had in his career staying on the court. I think he might be the greatest basketball player of all time. I think if you
what?
I'm not kidding.
I love the NBA.
I think
I love the
all
playoffs.
around, defensively, offensively, everything he does on the court. I think if you could pick Kawhi Leonard, if you had a one-on-one tournament of every great basketball player who has ever lived, and you picked their best day, their peak performance day on the court, I think he might win that tournament.
The people behind the glass in a room that we have not yet named, they are actively just disgusted with
I like the take that if I could take someone's peak and just put them on the court, this person might be the best. But it's an impossible thing to say. We're just now it's been 3 years since we've spoken in these terms about Kawhi Leonard. That matters in this discussion.
I understand. Look, like I said, no one's ever going to ever make this argument. No one will put him in the top 10, top 20. But I swear to God, if his skills, the skills that he has all around I don't know that there's ever been a better package of skills in one guy.
Mike, really quick, the Bruins lost last night to the Panthers.
How are your fucking balls?
Mike said he's going to Game 3 and he's bringing a blender. Will you bring your cock and balls?
Bring them.
I really don't like this. I don't like this thing that you keep texting me, and I don't appreciate it, and I want you to stop.
Upset Bruin.
I mean, can you do a blender noise now? I would do the burp, but I was told I'd get fired by John Skipper if I did.
Oh, you know what that sound means.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what that sound means?
No, not really.
It means it's the return of
Against the
Spread. Wildly popular segment in which we pick games and we tabulate our records at the end of whenever this marketing run is, and we see who's the best. But when we pick games, we don't just pick them straight up. No. That would be too easy.
Yeah.
We pick them against the spread. That's right.
I'm getting the hang of this.
Full ATS, and it's like a head-to-head competition. We're all going to see who's best against the spread at a time to be determined. I know that I lost because even though I picked the Colorado Rockies one day, they had won, but they didn't cover it against the spread. So today I'll lead things off. I think Pablo's starting to get it, folks.
I like how the cadence is the same as stay off the weed.
Maybe that was subconscious on 420. I should play that sound a little bit more. Against the weed.
Why was Jake Plummer against the weed?
Yeah, you didn't want to dance for us, but it's okay.
Not a wake and take guy, huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
I blame Matt Sullivan.
So, for my pick against the spread, I'm going to go the reigning Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche puck line -1.5. I kind of have a big bet on Avs in regulation, but for this segment, which is called Against the Spread, I'll have to take them puck line. So Avs -1.5 is my pick. Jess, who are you picking
The Avs and the Avnots.
I don't think I had a pick for against
Against
Yeah.
the
The
spread.
Yeah,
you
but
gotta
you're
pick.
you're in now.
You have to pick.
And the good news is you're tied with me.
What am I supposed to say in this game against
pick a
the
team.
spread?
Pick
Against the
pick a
spread.
team.
Against-
And any team
Yeah.
as long as it's ATS.
Do they have to
Against
be
the spread.
playing tonight?
Yeah.
Who
No,
plays
no,
tonight?
You could also pick an
The
XFL game.
Rangers.
Against the spread.
Which team? Texas
Yeah,
or New
Texas or New York?
New York. Obvi.
Yes, Lee. So let me find out if they're even a.
Artemi Panarin.
York? The Rangers
Breadman.
are plus 1.5 on the puck line.
Oh, okay. So they're dogs, but you're going with the New York Rangers.
Against
the
spread.
I get it now.
Yeah, Roy, you're up.
That was going to be my pick, so I'm going to switch games. The Lightning and the
Schoolboys.
Maple Leafs are playing tonight. I'm going with the Maple Leafs.
Oh, you're trusting the Maple Leafs.
As a favorite.
What's the
1.5.
line?
1.5.
1.5 on the puck line.
Against the
the
spread.
spread.
Ryan Cortez, you're here.
Coward.
Against the spread.
No, just pick.
Get it?
Yeah.
We all get how the game's played
yeah,
now.
Yeah, so pick a team. ATS.
I'm going to take the Golden State Warriors minus 6 points against Mike Schur, that coward.
Oh, wow.
His Light the Beam team. I'll take Golden State minus 6
Against
the
spread.
That's a ticket. All right, Tony, you go.
Light that beam, Kings plus 6. I still like the Warriors to win,
Okay.
but I'm gonna take the Kings.
Against the spread. Now we're cooking with gas. Jeremy Taché.
Kodai Senga starts for the New York Mets tonight. He and his ghost forkball.
Oh.
The Mets win
Let's go.
minus 1.5. Taking the Mets.
Against
the spread.
Amin El Hassan.
Oh, my former employer, the Phoenix Suns, play tonight at Los Angeles at the Clippers. It's -3, and I'm taking the Suns against the spread.
Road favorites.
Yeah.
The Suns are.
Yeah.
Pablo Torre.
Oh, my turn.
I know that you've got the nerves built up in you right now. Because this is your first time participating in.
And also because Mike said the only thing you need to know about playing this game is that you say against the spread.
This is your first
Yeah,
time
I was
participating
watching
in.
Jess go through this, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna Google some stuff real quick."
Let the man say it.
We were all trying to say it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to do it one more time.
Okay.
This is your first time participating in.
Against
the spread.
I feel like Jess is the worst at this game.
No, I'm not buying
It's
it.
my first time playing it.
I'm not buying it.
What aren't you buying?
You selling it?
You're not selling it, so I'm not buying it.
Okay.
You know what I'm buying?
What are you buying?
My Philadelphia 76ers
Uh-huh.
minus 4.5 against the Nets tonight.
On the road.
Against
Come
the
on.
spread.
You gotta say
I mean, like
Against-
I worry about bits being
spread.
sort of like really stretched, but in this case, I am not against
the spread.
This guy's got
And this segment, which is called
Against
the
Spread.
is, as always, brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Download the DraftKings app and use code DAN to get in on the action, folks. And that was a rousing rendition of
Against the
Amin, I want to talk to you about your pick specifically.
I wish I wasn't banned from using the burp noise by the head of the company. That was
He's gone. I
perfect
think
for it.
We can burp it up now, baby.
I want to talk. I think.
Freedom!
He's back.
Let's go.
Pablo, I told you. I told you 1,000 times.
Let's go!
I want to talk to you about your pick
Yeah.
against the spread.
Against the spread.
Yeah, I'm genuinely confused by Mike Schur's takeaway from this series, which is Kawhi Leonard's the greatest basketball player ever. I think that's a bit hyperbolic, no? That's something that you could say after the Raptors series, but so much in the NBA has changed. That was 2 Kevin Durant teams ago, for heaven's sake. So I think that has to be applied when you talk about Kawhi.
I like that take, though, Mike. I like that take. I mean,
I do like the idea.
Kawhi Leonard would emerge.
Quietly.
Kawhi would emerge from the Mortal Kombat tournament that we're describing.
Yeah,
of all
you
peak
learned your
NBA
lesson.
players.
I was under the impression, as someone that struggles to follow West Coast basketball because of the time that it's on, I was under the impression that Paul George injury would be a big one. And
that like his absence would really hurt the Clippers is what you mean. Yeah.
Right, but
'Cause
he's
the injury is a big
historically, playoff P.
Yeah.
And he's had a lot of disappointing playoff performances. Are they better without Paul George?
No, I mean, let's not do the Bill Simmons Ewing theory. We're not going to do that. But
it's hard to separate how good Kawhi is looking right now from that. Is he just taking it up
But it's
another
also,
level?
I mean, it's also just the first time we've seen Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs this year. And so there's the aspect of like, is he benefiting from no Paul George, or is he actually? I was talking to somebody in the league today. I mean,
Ooh, hit it.
who worked for a team that had Kawhi Leonard on it, and what he pointed out is that
Wow, I think you really narrowed it down there.
I mean, a couple of candidates in this murder mystery, but the point is, offensively, you can just play through him. Like the fact that there is no true point guard. Kawhi Leonard, there's the drive and kick version of using him, which is great, but there's also just the, Kawhi Leonard time. Apple time, Apple time, Apple time. There is that time. And it's Apple time right now. Like, he just gets the ball, and it doesn't matter.
I just want to explain. I just want to explain the origins of Apple time to people. This is the year they won the championship in Toronto. There is an excerpt that went around the internet of a profile feature on Kawhi Leonard in which the team went to a steakhouse, and Kawhi, when the waiter went around to take orders, Kawhi said, didn't need to take order, and pulled out a stack of apples and put them on the table, and then proceeded to slice the apples and eat them while muttering to himself,
Apple time, Apple time.
and people believed it. This goes back to what we were talking about when Mike Schur was on.
Yes.
That you guys crave Kawhi because he is the last of the Mohicans. He is something from another era where
The penultimate Mohican.
you don't know anything about him.
We also believed it because we wanted to.
But
I
because
did
you
that.
know nothing about him,
Apple
and he's
time,
such a
apple
weird
time.
guy, it sounds like something that would be real.
Would he just eat raw apple with his bare hands?
Well, no,
Raw
he
apple.
fork and knife.
Fork
it,
and knife.
Oh, was that-
Which
because
was
he
my
sliced
favorite
it on his
detail
plate.
outside of the apple time.
But the reason why you believe those things also beyond our willful naivete is that he is also somebody who has actual anecdotes in highly reported stories like at The Athletic that point out that in college at San Diego State, Kawhi Leonard would go to the team manager's house and they would just watch Michael Jordan highlights for 4 or 5 hours at a time.
On YouTube, yep.
And they would call them, Kawhi Leonard would call them Mike Highs.
Yeah.
And it was Mike Highs time. And he would just do this. And now we're watching. The reason why I love Mike Schur's take is because what we're actually watching, as much as Kobe Bryant was, we talked about people cosplaying Mamba mentality. Kobe Bryant was cosplaying Michael Jordan. Kawhi Leonard is a better Michael Jordan cosplayer when it comes to like
Kobe.
the actual style of play. I mean, the biomechanics, efficiency, even just the arc of his shot. It's clear that he has been microdosing Mike Highs for a legitimately really long time.
Absolutely. And he's the post All-Star break period in the 18 games he played. He's averaging 27.7.1 rebounds, 3.7 assists, shooting 54% from the field, 47% from three.
It's crazy.
That's the part, the three-point shooting is the
47.
part where you're like, maybe he is the best player of all
If
time.
he can do that, if he can stop whoever you got and also do that to you, what can't he do?
Is he still the same defender?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes.
That's the scary part.
That was. I mean, that's what we're seeing. You guys said, "Oh, is this him without Paul George, or is this him back in the playoffs?" What is this? Is him healthy? We haven't seen him healthy. Basically, not even in the championship year, he wasn't healthy.
But this gets to the entire reason why Kawhi Leonard, more than anybody else, is playing the game the right way. He is attracting no attention to himself, and so he's actually the poster boy for load management. He is the reason why the whole debate about are these players, who's telling them to do this? Kawhi Leonard, I believe with the Raptors, learned something about load management, and he learned that he does not give up about the regular season.
I'm going to just say this right now. You are making Jeremy work overtime with that F-bomb. You know they got to mark it, right?
It's his first time being away from ESPN.
Oh,
and
I forgot.
Cannot get enough. Oh, it is. I'm no longer with ESPN.
And loving it.
Going off of something Pablo just said, we recently got sent an email, and I don't want to reveal too much because I'm not in that seat and I won't.
Okay.
But we got sent an email recently, and part of the email there was an attachment with a list of banned words, like dirty words we're not allowed to say, and I've
Really?
never clicked on anything faster. I've never seen just a list of bad words
What's
before.
on it?
I didn't get this
didn't
email.
know.
The F word. I'm sure everyone got the email. I might be the only person who read it. But
I skimmed through it.
I knew exactly what would be on the list, which swear words we aren't supposed to say.
Which ones?
I'm not going to say them.
No,
'cause we're
give
not
me
supposed to say
give me
them.
euphemisms.
The F
for 'em.
word.
Okay. Find
The B word.
below.
The S word, which I say
What's
like
the S word?
every other word.
Shite.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can we say shite?
We can't. Can we say
Shire.
shiitake mushrooms?
But there's a big list of words, and
Shout out to Jake
I knew
Plummer.
what the words were going to be, and I still wanted to go read them. I was like, ooh, hee hee. The naughty word list.
I want to know what these words are.
I was told at ESPN I couldn't say pissed
Yeah.
on TV.
That's
They also-
also on the list. By
they
the way.
also
That
to-
is? What
Yeah.
is the deal with
They
this?
told me I couldn't say suck. Like, oh, someone that sucks. I can't say that. And I'm like, why not? And they're like, because it means something. I'm like, what does it mean? And then
Go on.
I had to make them explain.
No,
to
that
me.
was just one person at ESPN that didn't like that word.
Really?
That's the story behind sucks being
Really?
shadow banned
Huh.
at ESPN.
How about that? That sucks for
I didn't
them.
know that.
I mean, I feel the same way about the B word. I kind of shadow ban that. And you
Context
listen.
matters, I think.
I didn't-
If you're talking about a female dog, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, but too much
I
people
think.
use it to say complaining and I especially don't like it when people describe men as that because I know what they're getting at and I just hate the word. So I kind of am down with like the whole I just don't like that word, we're banning it.
What
But
about-
it is weird that it sucks.
The B word in context of complaining is actually okay in this sense. It
Yeah,
says it
that
on
was an
the-
approved word.
Yeah.
So it's pissed off out of anger.
So,
That
but
was
like,
approved.
okay, so let me ask about the B word because in the NBA there is a kind of subculture of using it in the language that's like you could say this is a funny oh man that guy's a B, but it's not a pejorative. It's actually like he's a pain to guard. Like he's very hard to deal with.
He's a bear. He's a load.
Yeah, like he's a B.
He's an ox.
Yeah. So I don't know. Is that
Did
cool?
anyone ever say that?
Yeah, and like
Ox?
oh, an ox. Yeah.
If you play basketball long enough with old guys,
Yeah.
you find
They
out who the
say
oxes
ox?
are.
Lumberjacks.
Oh my god.
Lumberjacks say it all the
Oxen.
time. That's only if they're a couple.
Well, there may be an ox among us because we found something out today that is very suspicious. In our move to the new studio, the fine bucket came with us. And the fine bucket, a month ago, when I pretended to put money in it for someone that was at the studio, I can't remember who it was, it had a lot of money in
Dominique.
it. I know. It was Dominique. Thank you, Tony. And I
right.
noticed it probably had like, I don't want to say exactly how much, but a big wad of
Several
cash.
$100s, I'd
At
say.
least several $100.
Hold on. You guys had a cup that had several hundreds of dollars in it, and you thought that, hey, we'll just put it throw it with the rest of the things. It'll make it to the new studio unscathed.
So it's important to point out that on youtube.com/LeBatard and Friends, Tony is really fingering this glass.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
What?
That's a banned word.
I mean,
So we got to the new studio, and we realized today there's only like $7 left in
There's
the fine
$8.
bucket.
There's
there's
$8.
a
Sorry,
single
$8.
dollar.
I thought there was a five.
Which feels like a
message.
message.
It does.
It's not like if you take all of it out, it's like, okay, someone put this elsewhere in the studio. This feels like they
Pablo.
wanted you to know that they know that you know.
Who took the fine bucket money?
Pablo, you know what this sounds like? Mafia. This is the game of mafia
It really
right
is
here.
mafia. Do you guys even know what mafia is?
Please explain.
Yes.
I'm an Italian American.
Apologies.
No, you're
Multiple
not. You got-
people's culture we are using as our costumes today. But mafia, raise a hand in the room to be determined name. What do you know what mafia is? Only
I thought we were
Tony-
going with Mission Control.
Mission
You guys
Control.
all liked it, and then you were just like, no, we'll keep brainstorming. Then you never did.
It's also like scientists, like behind a glass
should wear
pane,
white
like we're
coats.
lab rats. We're
If
like
you-
looking for approval
Ooh, the
from you
lab
guys.
rats.
If you guys are mission control, then every time we have a good segment, you've got to stand up and cheer and high five each other like we just landed
And go,
on the
let's
moon.
go.
Let's go.
But essentially, 2 of the 6 of you know what mafia is.
Yeah, I don't know it, and I'm also an Italian American.
It's not like a board game, is it?
But I think less so now.
It's a party game.
Really?
So basically, what happens is you get playing cards, and you designate. If you get a face card, that means you are in the mafia. If you get this different kind of card, that means you are a citizen, so on and so forth.
An
right?
innocent or the criminal.
Right, and then there, yes. And so the idea is one person knows that they are the criminal, but everyone else is kind of trying to guess who it is through a series of questions. And at the end of every round, everybody votes who they think the person who did it is. And if you pick right, you get to continue on. If you pick wrong, you get.
Amin plays this game. Amin is a Dungeons and Dragons
never played Dungeons and Dragons.
Moderator for this game. The point is, in the night, everybody closes their eyes. In the night, someone is eliminated. They are voted off, aka killed, by the person who is quietly the criminal, and everyone else is a civilian. One person is the night watchman, who is able to ask about the identity of the criminal by pointing to that person and guessing. And if the moderator can validate that they are in fact the criminal, that they are in fact they are told this. But in the night, one of them is eliminated. And so in the morning, that person has to convince the others that in fact the criminal is this person.
I mean, isn't it Stugotz?
Who stole the money?
Yeah.
You should call this game
No.
Stugotz.
Instead of Mafia.
You think it was Stugotz?
It's a game of lying. It's actually just a game in which everybody tries to lie to prove that they are innocent.
Why would they leave the bucket behind if they were just going to take everything?
That's true.
This is a calling card. We could have just said, "Oh, we misplaced the bucket."
Right,
and
we lost
that
it.
would be conceivable.
Why did they leave $1 in
Yeah,
there?
it's a little suspicious.
It's like the
Thank
sticky
God Tony's
bandits.
a detective. Tony?
The dollar
I've got a
bandit.
lead.
Oh.
Oh,
What's your lead?
I'm sure
My
you
lead
do.
is this. Yesterday, it was a certain somebody's going away party. Not saying that he's part of my suspect list. All I'm saying is it's a very easy, connection point of somebody who's not going to be here anymore to somebody that may have taken something. I don't know.
You jerk! He just left.
Just
He,
a lead.
why would you?
Just a
Why would
lead.
you say that about Sweetheart
Just,
Bob?
just a lead. You mean
we
Bob
had-
2, right? Yes.
We had a whole going away party for Bob the engineer on this
This
rooftop
sweet 60-year-old man.
patio,
How do you
which
think
everybody
How do you think we paid
toasted
for it?
him.
I've known Bob the engineer for 12 years. I've trusted him.
You're
around
talking
that
about
bucket.
Bob 1. I'm talking about Bob 2.
Who's Bob 2?
There's a Bob too.
Bob 2 is no longer here. Also suspiciously missing.
Wait, we said goodbye to two Bobs?
Who's Bob 2?
But where's Bob 2?
The last of the Bob Heekins.
Can anybody answer me
We're bobbing for suspects.
Oh, Jesus.
You can just tell me that in my ear and not just whisper it. I'm like,
Wait a second. My mic is called B.O. Am I Bob?
That's actually 80.
No accident.
Yeah, 80.
I've been meaning to talk to you about that odor.
This is Cortez's jacket. so-
Whoa!
Yeah, Cortez just showed up
wow!
And maybe Jeremy is just trying to get revenge for.
Let's go!
Empty your pockets, Jeremy.
It's a lot of suspects.
I mean, Pablo just showed up too. We're being honest.
How do you think
He
we
was
paid
here
his dealer?
yesterday.
How Stugotz, by the way, did come through. We stood next to his car yesterday. He smoked a cigarette, had a heater, and then he handed me, a nice clump of, as Jake Plumler might call it, the queendom.
Let's go!
I really want to try that candy bar.
Yeah, Amin went straight to just can I get the free stuff
I mean,
here and
look.
loving it.
If people are going to promote their product on our show, I feel like they should send us the product.
Now, is this
Loving it.
psilocybin chocolate,
I
or is
don't
it like the other mushroom
I
chocolate?
don't know.
He was pretty deliberately vague on that.
Yeah.
I've also
So
heard
it's
that
psilocybin?
psilocybin.
Because I've been getting the pronunciation off an old Incubus song where I thought it was psilocybin.
That's not it, yeah.
That's what
I
you do when
accidentally
you
had
listen to
mushroom
Incubus.
kombucha
bad.
once, and it was terrible.
Bad trip.
It wasn't like psychedelic or anything. It was like the flavor was mushroom. This was
Oh,
like
mushrooms taste bad.
yeah.
way.
It was so
Throw
bad.
it on a pizza. You got me.
It was a
now.
bottom 5 thing I've ever tasted in my life.
Throw it in a drink.
I was
not
trying
so
to get
much.
Jake
I would
Clever to
love
talk
to
about
hear
this.
the rest of the bottom five.
Yeah.
No, no.
Can we get a top?
Buddy, you don't want to know. These words are on the list.
I want to.
Sucks.
I do want to go back to we were promised not by Jake Plummer, I might add, but we were promised an interview.
Oh my God! I mean, get
No?
over like your vendetta against Matt Sullivan.
I'm just saying, like, why would you give us all these? Oh, and like once he gets really going, you can ask him this, and I'm like, dude, like I could tell from the very beginning, his vibe was like, oh, he's not.
No, look, I love Jake Plummer. What I was cautious with was the idea that he was going to try and be serious Jake Plummer because we were going to try and get him to do fun stuff.
Yeah.
Like I wanted him to explain the difference between weed and mushrooms, and I wanted him to talk about how when you eat mushrooms, it tastes so much worse. Like you can't really hide the flavor if you put it in chocolate.
Peanut
like
butter.
It's just you got to like hide it in something else.
I've been told.
But also like the high allegedly of like being on mushrooms versus weed is just different. And I want to talk about how weed is just so mainstream now that it's kind of just not even cool anymore. Like I'm just worried about like every liquor company subsuming weed and the culture of it being just sort of like blah now in the way that like every bachelor party in Vegas will, eat an edible and then invariably unbutton a couple of buttons and then say, loving it. No.
Oh, man.
Pablo, you're so right though. Shrooms
Come
is
on.
the new weed.
Come on. And yes, thank you, Tony.
Shrooms is the new weed, right?
Jesus.
Like weed is not good enough anymore. Now everybody's on the shroom kick.
Correct.
Is it?
Correct. No, look, I mean, like,
And whatever happened to crack? Yes. We talk about that for a minute. Is that on the list of words?
That might be on
Crack?
the list.
Crack?
I don't know. Let's see.
Depends on the context.
I still,
yeah.
I definitely did not get this email.
Some cracks are on the list.
Oh.
How about Mike Crack?
okay, guys.
Oh, now it's too much, Pablo. Now it's too much.
I'm trying to regain my-
As a serial burper button guy.
Trying to regain my credibility.
Came to the wrong place.
There was a note that Dan gave us off air when we were getting a little too blue.
How
where
many
he
people
said-
are sending in notes while I'm hosting? Did they not trust me?
He said it in one of the more dismissive ways I've ever heard, which is he just muttered in the talkback, "Can we try to elevate the discourse?"
That's
Is that today?
I mean, it might as well be.
when was it?
that was the day I missed a segment because I went to the bathroom. Here's the problem. Dan can't just keep things rolling. Dan's got to point out, where were you? And so I was taking a
Let's go!
That's on the list.
Drop the dookie.